Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more. Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's Blockchain Future Tech Expo.com. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Future Tech Podcast. This is Chris, and my guest today is Stuart Duncan with Vice Industry Token. Welcome, Stuart. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you for being here. Stuart, tell us about your background and what led you to get involved with Vice Industry Token.
Okay. So going back to the very beginning of it, I have a technical background. I worked at Canadian Aviation Electronics. I worked at Mitel Corporation, and I also worked at a company called Telesat that was later bought by L'Oréal Skynet, and I worked on satellite and space systems for a number of years before starting my own company. I used to be CEO of Fifth Dimension Television and 5D Communications, and I had the largest occasionally used satellite and space sales system company in the world back in the 1990s. I got into adult broadcasting in 1993 when I suddenly had a spare satellite transponder, and in those days it was kind of tough. I had no customers for it, so I came up with a plan with an ex-NBC vice president of programming to launch something called Ecstasy on a satellite network. Or a satellite transponder, and I did, and I grew that into the largest XXX television network in North America by 1996. In 1998, it was purchased by an outfit called New Frontier Media. I actually had partnered with them in an IPO, an initial public offering on NASDAQ. And we took 10 Broadcasting public as New Frontier Media, and it existed until a couple of years ago when a later partner of mine named Larry Flint from Hustler bought it and took it private. So anyway, I've been running a large television network and cable system operation called 10 Broadcasting since then, and it was in 2008, I was involved heavily in the internet, and we started to have problems on the internet side with the loss of revenues, and it was primarily because of tube sites. So for the last 10 years or so, I've been looking at another entree into the space where I could make myself relevant, but tube sites of course, came along, and instead of having a pay model, they created a watch for free model. So using cryptocurrency, I now have created and launched get paid to watch porn model, and I registered the trademark get paid to watch porn.
Very interesting. So what is Vice Industry Token? Tell us more about that.
Well, Vice Industry Token is a token that's based on is a fork of the Steem blockchain. So Steem is a blockchain that's used primarily by bloggers, and since July of 2016, it's paid out in excess of $27 million. It has a network size of about 500,000 users on the Steem network. I looked at that and I said, well, this is perfect for what I want to do. I can take that, I can transform the Stack application, do a fork of their blockchain, make my own blockchain, build my own stack on it, and pay people to watch TV and video. So that's exactly what I've done. And, I came up with the slogan, get paid to watch porn, and said that free was good. It's just not good enough anymore. I think what I can do now is I can take that to the existing market, that adult, of free adult, and I can change it and start paying people to engage and watch videos in what I call an attention economy, as opposed to them just going to a tube site or a site and just watching some content for free. Now they can actually get a benefit from it above and beyond watching the video. So in concepting it, I thought, we could also make better adult programming. This is going to help the entire market break down actually to a performer, because viewers in my system will be able to create a micropayment to their favorite performers. So in that sense, what I've done is I've created a token that pays curators or content owners. We get a back-end fee for the operation of the blockchain and the network, and a viewer gets a shared portion of the token that's generated when they are viewing videos and upvoting them and liking them and commenting on them. And what I call that is proof of brain. So if a user is engaged with it and he's not a click fraud or anything, we have ways to catch that up. It's pretty easy, although some people would say, "Oh, how can you stop that from happening?" It's easily stopped. So we create a cryptocurrency where everybody gets paid.
I'm curious to know how, the specific model where the user gets paid. Can you give us more details on that?
Well, yeah, it's quite simple. It's a blockchain. A blockchain generates a cryptocurrency when certain functions are performed. In our case, it's a proof of brain function. And if you perform the proof of brain function properly on our blockchain, you'll generate a token that you can use across our network to purchase other goods and services from other people involved in participating in our network. So, for example, we have a number of people and a number of companies actually signed on to use the token, or who have announced they're going to be using the token. For example, Ecstasy, they're going to be using it. Elegant Angel, Playboy, Penthouse is another one. And there's quite a few, and some have been added, and there's more coming on. So it'll be a big, what I call a mass utility token for a market of people in the world that I guesstimate there are probably about 750 million people worldwide who will engage with our adult network and utilize our token and be trading and buying goods and services on our network platform.
Okay. Now, I understand that you just finished your crowd sale. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Walk us through that and your experience with it.
Well, I didn't get any sleep for months. I had a lot of people call me, and in the early days, I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, it can't work. It'll never be successful." Then we did a few things along the way that nobody ever did before. We had a reservation system, so we found out who the people were that were going to participate with us early on. We identified who they were. We tried to create an easy system for them to register and actually purchase and buy tokens on our utility platform. And I think we were successful with that. Some people complained about it, of course, because people will complain. But nobody's ever done it before. So I guess I suppose some people or a lot of people don't like something that's new. So that was the first. The other thing that we did was we created something called a refund contract. We felt that always we would have a successful utility token crowd sale, but to give some people confidence in what we were doing, we created a refund contract so that they could be assured that we weren't going to run off with their money like Proteum did and put up the word penis. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but there are a lot of suspect projects out there. We weren't one of them. We wanted people to know. We also wanted participation with people, so we kept our Telegram very open. I know that because I'm very active in the crypto community, I know what other people are doing. I do believe, based on what I saw, and a lot of people would back me up on this, that we had a very open crowd sale. The members of the team, all of us were easy to be gotten hold of if you came to our site and asked questions. People would direct message me. I'd get back to them. I was very happy with the way the crowd sale ended, and we had a very successful raise. We're continuing to work with some of the large people in. People criticized me early on. They said that I wasn't doing enough to support large buyers. And large buyers look at these types of things, and what they want is they want special treatment, and they often want huge discounts over what the normal market gets. And I put out a press release some time ago and said that we were going to limit the activity and participation of these people, which I was successful in doing to the end. So what we have, instead of a few, really large groups essentially owning everything, is we've got, I don't know, I think I haven't done the final count, but I think it's well over 7,000 people participating in our crowd sale.
Okay. I want to go back. I'm curious about this idea of the refund contract. Can you give us more details about how that specifically works?
Oh, sure. So what it is that's kind of a novel thing too. That wasn't really done by anybody before us that I'm aware of, and certainly nobody in the adult area. What it is we operated with something called a smart contract. The smart contract operates such that anybody putting any purchase order in, it goes into a smart contract, and it gets held there on the Ethereum blockchain. And coupled with that smart contract was a refund contract that stipulates that if at any time before June 28th, if a purchaser is not happy with the progress of our project or the work we're doing, they have the ability to simply back out of their agreement and take their original purchase out of the crowd sale and get it refunded to them. It's that simple.
And so that's June of this year. What do you estimate will be?
That's June 28th, because what happens if you look at the vast majority of token sales? I do believe that there is, I know for a fact there is no refund contract. You send them your money and you'll never see it again. Maybe we're giving people a chance to look at our project, weigh what we've done off against our milestones, and look at our announcements and look at our partners and things like that, and make a decision whether or not they want to be in it at all. So in that sense, we don't take anything from anybody until the end of the refund contract. The original purchase gets converted to a native Vice Industry token.
Okay. And what other metrics are you looking for in success of the token before the June 28th deadline? Well,
this thing's rolling up pretty quick. I mean, if you asked anybody what the Vice Industry token was last Christmas, nobody had ever heard of us. But, I've been working on this since the fall of 2016 with a group of partners. and some of them are heavily involved in the crypto space. Because we're an adult token, they really don't want to be mentioned, so I won't. But look at the success we've had and to date, and look at the people that we've got that have publicly announced they'll be using our token, like Playboy and Penthouse. I mean, there's other big names and brands coming on. They're not going to be the only one, certainly. And the other day we announced, for example, that MechBunny, which is, I believe, the largest programmer and developer of adult tube scripts globally, they came out all on their own, and they said, guys, we're going to be implementing the Vice Industry Token into our existing tube scripts. So anybody who's got an adult tube that has purchased code from us now gets a free update of that Vice Industry Token add-on. And then going ahead, all of the sites that we are creating are going to also have this the Vice Industry Token algorithm button built into it. But they're also going to be working with people. They want to work with people to help them integrate into existing websites. So that was pretty exciting when you consider that that tube script has probably been sold or is operating in up to about 9,000 adult tube sites globally, and some of those are the largest tube sites in the business.
Okay, interesting. So what's on your company roadmap for the next 12 months?
Well, that's a good question too. And as we finish the crowd sale today, I'm not modifying it, but I'm updating it. And I think what we're doing is we're adding in some things that hadn't been seen before. I still haven't got it set for an official release. I'll be doing that very soon, but our original roadmap that you can see at vicetoken.com continues. Some of those dates for certain milestones along the way may change. We may be adding a few things, and we most probably will be adding more. So, I mean, our existing roadmap is there, but I am modifying it. Basically, what I'll be doing is releasing a lot more information about where we are in the roadmap and additional things that we're going to do. But, I can't really discuss them here.
Okay. So you mentioned other companies. I don't want to go directly into those companies specifically, but what I want to know about is, what do you think the near-term future of industry will look like, and what kind of developments do you think are realistic versus ones that are a bit too ambitious to happen?
Well, I mean, I've been involved with my own projects, my own development, but I'm going to try and answer your question, because I think it could mean three things. It could mean, do you think there are projects out there that just can't be built because the technology doesn't exist, or it can't exist, and people are overreaching in their promises to people? That's one of the questions that I heard. The other one is that the existing cryptocurrency space may have some challenges from global authorities worldwide. And then the last one that I heard is, what does this mean for the adult community? So I'm going to address the adult community, because I can certainly guess about the other stuff, but I can specifically tell you what the Vice Industry Token means to the adult community and to the Vice industry in general, because we are working now on cannabis-related projects. We're also working on virtual reality and augmented reality projects. We're also working on gaming projects. So, we're a Vice Industry Token, so we're continuing to do that. We know that our use of the blockchain the way we want to do it, using proof of brain, will generate tokens. We know that works. So what does it mean for the adult industry in general? I think what we've had happen in the adult industry over the last 15 years, certainly, but accelerated since 2008, was a decline in revenues across the entire industry. I know personally that a lot of studios that I formerly worked with in Los Angeles and globally have shut down. A lot of businesses went bankrupt. Now, that happens during the normal course of business anyway, but it's been particularly bad and exacerbated by the fact that tube sites were out there, in some instances pirating content, and in other instances just simply cutting the knees off of the industry as the industry was declining, a lot of people were using tubes and basically not making any money in doing so. I think tube operators got really wealthy, but other people didn't. But I think now what we have with the Vice Industry Token is even if a content owner, partner, curator wants to work with a tube site now, they're going to get a generation of tokens where they got nothing before. Even the tube operator got nothing. I mean, 90% of the traffic to a tube site doesn't get realized into anything at all, where now it gets generated as a token. And some people have been critical of our path, saying that what we're going to do is we're going to grab people's personal confidential information and sell it as, to ad markets and things like that, traffic markets, which is absurd because all of the information that we're going to be getting from our machine algorithms is all impersonal data, but it will show us trends in our business. But that's the nature of the internet today. When you go on Google, you go on YouTube, you go on Amazon, you go on any site, if they're not gathering information from you, they're probably a very small site. But if they're business oriented and they're looking at serving a wider base, they're trying to understand what that base is using and interacting with, what the trends are. And we intend to keep doing that. But I think that what we started is a fundamental change in the way people are going to be using adult and the way people are going to be monetizing adult, and the way that we interact is now that we're creating a token that involves every level of our industry, including the viewer. We're going to be creating a huge social network. I'm guessing the size of our network is about 750 million people worldwide. That's a huge network. If you look at the existing Steem network with its bloggers at 500,000, we're 750 to 1,000 times larger. 1,000 times would take us to 1 billion users worldwide, but I'm not saying that we get to that, but I do believe that we've got at least 750 million people worldwide. So if that's the case and we're able to generate a token inside a mass utility network, I'd say that lifts all boats and that everybody's going to do well with a token like that.
Okay. Stuart, where do you see your company going in the next few years?
Well, that's hard to say. I joked this morning and I said that I'm probably another 3 or 4 years for this. And then, I'll be transitioning out and on to do something else, like maybe nothing at all. But what I want to do is I want to make sure, one of the jobs that I've got to do now is I've got to make sure that our business gets on a trajectory, a growth path that's good and solid, that we don't overpromise, that we succeed or we underpromise what we're trying to do. I'm looking for growth. I think we've got growth. I think that ultimately our token can be used in all kinds of different applications. I actually allow people to come in and white label the use of it. So somewhere out there right now is a kid maybe on a skateboard at the corner of Hollywood and Vine, and he might be the next big thing that'll come in and use our network and create a new Facebook or a new YouTube or a new social network. What we are essentially is we are a social network. When you get right down to it, we're a social network connected by a cryptocurrency used across an attention economy. And I think that I can't predict where we are, but I just betcha, people in Indonesia, people in Africa, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, South America, North America, and every continent on this planet will be using our token. And that, some people will be using it to feed themselves. Some people will be using it to enrich themselves in other ways. I really don't know where it ends up. It's almost like you start something and you can't see where it finishes. But I think whatever we've started is not going to be a bad thing for the planet, and it's only going to benefit everybody who participates.
All right. Well, Stuart, any final thoughts before we go, and maybe where people can contact you or find out more about Vice Industry Token?
They can go to vicetoken.com. They can certainly reach out to me through our Telegram. I'm available. I'll always be available. I don't see a day coming that I won't be. I enjoy getting questions from people. I enjoy talking to people. I don't tolerate, some of the rude people that I've had call me. I've had all kinds of people, but I'd say the vast majority, well over 99% of the people that have contacted me have been very friendly, and I'm approachable. And my team is too, and that'll continue. Our Telegram will continue, our Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all of our other social mediums continue. That doesn't die. That just continues. As our network continues to grow and evolve, we'll have more people involved in our social network, and I intend to, hire more of those people. But for now, we've got an awful lot of work to do on the development side. We've got an awful lot of work to do on the marketing and sales side, and we've got to worry about our ability to market and advertise our efforts off into the future. So that's where all of my effort is going right now. I made a comment earlier that maybe in 3 or 4 years I wouldn't be with the organization. I think what's going to happen with our organization, to be quite frank, it's going to grow to be a lot larger than my actual skill set can manage. So I intend to find the very best people who can work with me and manage our business going ahead.
Great. Stuart, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Stuart Duncan with vicetoken.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening in to the Future Tech Podcast. We'll catch you here next time.
Coming to Dallas, Texas, September 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2018, the Blockchain and Future Tech Expo. This is going to be a gigantic conference of over 5,000 people. We're going to be talking about blockchain and its applications. We're going to be talking about quantum computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and several other future technologies that are poised to and actually changing our lives as we speak. Here's why you should attend. As you may know, early adopters are the ones that investigated and profited from things like the gold rush in the 1800s, from the dot-com boom in the 1990s, from the internet boom in 2005, from the smartphone explosion in 2007, from the real estate boom that ended in 2008, and of course, from the Bitcoin boom that started in 2012. Early adopters act now. They don't wait till later. They go out west first. In their covered wagons, they find the biggest gold nuggets. If you consider yourself an early adopter and you want to find the biggest nuggets, then you owe it to yourself to attend this upcoming conference. Blockchain is going to affect how we control and store our medical data, how we send money around the world, how we bank, and more. But artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and cybersecurity will play a pivotal role in our lives as well. And that's why our next event, September 14th to the 16th at the Dallas Convention Center, is going to have not only 5,000 plus attendees, but will showcase blockchain, AI, cybersecurity, quantum computing, and more. You want to get in on the coming gold rush of future tech and opportunity as an early adopter. Don't be left out. To register, go to bftexpo.com. That's blockchainfuturetechexpo.com. Thank you. You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.